Welcome, everyone, to the NoDQ.com live recap of Monday Night Raw for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, January 20th, 2024. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. I very much appreciate your viewership and support. Not only do we have the Royal Rumble coming up in just under 2 weeks, but we also have the Saturday night's main event special coming up this Saturday. We had a new match confirmed for the show. Let's get to the Raw recap. It was Michael Cole with Wade Barrett on commentary. Pat McAfee was busy with football. So this week it was Cole and Wade Barrett. No Corey Graves. Is it a shoot? Is it a shoot that will become a work? Time will tell. We had footage shown from earlier in the day. Rhea Ripley, the women's champion, arrived only to be attacked by SmackDown's Nia Jax. We had main event Jey Uso coming down to the ring for his promo to open up the show. Jey Uso's entrance, it's an experience. It's like you go to a rock concert and you hear a classic song. That's what it's like when Jey Uso comes out there. You get that vibe. Everybody's in sync together. There was a young fan there that had the moment of his life. Jey started to talk about his upcoming match at Saturday night's main event against the world champion Gunther. Now, of course, pretty much the immediate interruption, one of these segments where a wrestler starts to talk, he gets immediately interrupted. Gunther came down to the ring. He talked about how Jey Uso is acting like a complete dork, how he's just a useful idiot. And Gunther said he is going to expose Jey Uso as a flash in the pan champion. Now, Jey did admit that he is a mascot for WWE and the crowd is his team. And he brought up how only one of them in the ring actually main evented WrestleMania, which was a nice comeback. And it was such a good comeback that Gunther attacked Jey. Jey, however, was able to fight back. He super kicked Gunther out of the ring. Jey held up the world championship. He dropped it. He put the line in the sand. Gunther grabbed his championship and took his leave. Pretty obvious to me after watching this segment that Gunther will, in fact, retain his championship. Jey Uso gets the last laugh before Saturday. You know what that means. I never thought that Jey was going to win the title. Should be an entertaining match, but yeah, I do think we will see Gunther retain the championship this coming Saturday at Saturday night's main event. Now, backstage, we had the New Day meeting up with JBL. John Layfield, fresh off of his appearance at Genesis when he cost Frankie Kazarian the opportunity to call his shot and potentially become the TNA World Champion. Now, New Day tried to bribe JBL. Apparently, they bribed him $2. They wanted him to speak positive about them in Texas while he was on commentary. But JBL gave them the truth bomb that the fans just want to see Big E. Then we had Bayley backstage, and she was interviewed. She officially confirmed that she is back on Monday Night Raw, officially traded. We'll talk more about that in a few moments. She did declare for the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble. Nia Jax confronted her and also declared for the Royal Rumble. We're finally getting some participants announced for the Rumble. And yes, I guess technically it is wrestling related. A WWE Hall of Famer is president of the United States again. Welcome to 2025. And there was a little reference to Trump, not from WWE, but on the show. We'll get to that later on. Thank you for the super chat, though. I appreciate it, Michael. Now, we had New Day coming out. It was Kofi Kingston versus Rey Mysterio. New Day came out to their old music and their old graphics, and Xavier had them shut it down. They cut a promo. They said that they are walking Hall of Famers, unlike JBL. And Kofi Kingston stole back the $2 that they used to try and bribe from JBL. They used to try to bribe him. We had our match. Crowd was chanting, "New Day sucks." Kofi Kingston was able to avoid the 619 early on in the match. He dominated Rey for a bit, but then Rey was able to counter Kofi, send him into the steel steps, and then after the break, Rey got in quite a bit of offense, and then Kofi, with a thumb to the eyes, momentarily gained control, but then Rey was able to avoid the tip, the trouble in paradise, and then Rey went for the 619, but he was tripped by Xavier Woods. However, the referee saw this, and he ejected Xavier from ringside. Then Rey hit the 619, went for the springboard splash, but Kofi was able to get his knees up, and then it looked like Rey was going to lose, but then Rey countered Kofi and got the surprise 1-2-3 victory. Kofi loses despite the recent heel turn to the veteran Rey Mysterio. And then there was an immediate attack after the match, 2-on-1 from the New Day. Fortunately, Rey has friends. LWO ran out there, and New Day ran away, but then they came back and attacked the LWO from behind. So they got their heat back. I'm still wondering when New Day will have a new presentation. I'm still waiting on that. I feel like this heel turn is starting to cool off a little bit, even though there were the New Day sucks chants. I'm just waiting for them to do something different here and reinvent the characters. And right now they're just coming out there and acting heelish, but I'm waiting for more. I do want to see more out of them. And yes, I am a little surprised myself that Kofi took the loss here to Rey. Rey really doesn't need to be winning at this point. He's Rey Mysterio. He can lose every week and people will still love the guy. We had a video package for Penta, and Chad Gable, coming off of the loss to Penta last week, was talking to American Made, and then Gable talked about how they have figured out what to do. He's meeting with Dominic Mysterio to help with his luchador problem, and then the Creeds and Ivy Nile vowed to get some championships, tag team titles, and women's IC title. We then had Sami Zayn come to the ring, and Sami Zayn cut a great promo to hype up the Royal Rumble. He said that he considers himself to be one of the top guys, but the one difference between him and all the others, like Roman Reigns and John Cena, he doesn't have a world championship to his name. And he said that, honestly, the fan support means more to him than any title. He said he doesn't need a title, but he wants a title. And he said he will take it at WrestleMania after he wins the Royal Rumble. Now, the plot thickens here. Kevin Owens comes out, and Sami Zayn felt like Owens was going to be confrontational because Sami Zayn teamed with Roman Reigns, and Owens said he actually understood why Zayn did it. because Zayn and Reigns have a lot of history. Zayn overlooked the bad things that Reigns did, just like Zayn overlooked the bad things that Kevin Owens did to him. Owens said that Zayn is a good, forgiven person. And he said that they're best friends. He believes Sami Zayn can and will win the Royal Rumble, and then they can accomplish one last thing together. They teamed up, main evented WrestleMania 2 years ago, but now they could potentially go one-on-one for the WWE Championship in the main event of WrestleMania. Owens said that Zayn has his back and he has Sami Zayn's back, and he knows that Sami Zayn will be there for him, and then took his leave. This was a really good segment. Definitely seems to be teasing Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, even though they got the obvious Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens match. I was talking about this a little bit on No DQ&A video. By the way, if you missed the Q&A, you can check it out on the No DQ YouTube channel on demand, nodq.com/YouTube. Now, Walter Cruz, Mr. Reliable, Rage of Wrestling, sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Walter. Much appreciated. Says, there should be a conspiracy theory where New Day cannot enter the Royal Rumble, like they are kicked out and then repackage them, come out with no music, etc. Well, Kofi Kingston is known for his Royal Rumble spots. I can't imagine he won't be in it this year, although the last couple years he was botching his big moments. I really hope they'll have some sort of a repackaging soon. Like, I want to see them with new gear, new music, although I kind of fear what music they'll have considering it's Def Rebel. They should really license something. Let New Day, let Kofi and Xavier, for real, pick out a song that they both like and let that be their entrance music, and just license it. You know, CM Punk has Cult of Personality. I'm sure there's a song that New Day, Kofi, Xavier, Big E, Kofi, Xavier, all of them like, that would be good heel music for Kofi and Xavier. We'll see what they come up with. Hopefully it's something good. I'm a little nervous though. Got to be real. But yeah, I thought the Zayn and Owens segment was really good, and I'm very intrigued where this is going and what they're going to do with these two after the Royal Rumble. We had Sheamus backstage cutting a promo to hype up his match with Braun Breaker this Saturday at Saturday night's main event. And then Braun Breaker, the Intercontinental Champion, confronted Sheamus, said he'll break Sheamus like an old man, told him to retire, and Sheamus responded by shoving Braun Breaker, and then Braun Breaker backed off. Now, this match is one that I'm very curious about. I feel the other matches at Saturday night's main event are predictable, but this one I'm not so sure of. Sheamus is going for that one accomplishment he hasn't done, and that's be the IC champion. And I feel like it will happen. Will it be this show? I don't know. I mean, Sheamus could win it and then lose it right back to Breaker. They could do something like that. I'm not really sure on this one. This one I'm really back and forth with. So it should be a good match on Saturday. I would not be shocked if Sheamus did win. I think it really could be a 50-50 as far as what the odds are going to be for this one. We had Bayley, who's officially on Raw, as I mentioned earlier, versus Nia Jax. Bayley had the early momentum, but then Nia caught her with a headbutt. And then Nia went up top, but Bayley sent her to the outside of the ring. And then she went for a dive. And then Roxanne Perez was seen at ringside. So is this the beginning of a storyline between Bayley and Roxanne? Roxanne went to slap Bayley, but Bayley ended up blocking it and struck Roxanne. Roxanne had to be escorted from the ringside area. And spoiler alert, thankfully, that was the last of Roxanne. She didn't come in at the end for a lame-ass DQ. I'm very happy we didn't get that. So after the commercial break, Nia Jax took control. And this was a really good match between these two. Back and forth here. And at one point, Bayley gave Nia a sunset flip power bomb, like a flip bomb into the ring post on the apron. And Nia barely beat the 10 count. Bayley then took a page out of Nia's book with the Annihilator. Nia, of course, kicked out of her own move. And then Nia regained control, sent Bayley into the post. But then Bayley avoided the Annihilator and then gave Nia a power bomb out of the corner. Nia kicked out. Bayley came off the top with a flying elbow. But once again, Nia was able to kick out. And then afterwards, Nia hit the pop-up Samoan drop and then won with the Annihilator to get a clean, decisive win over Bayley in Bayley's first official match on Raw. A little surprising, but Nia is being pushed. And then we had Rhea Ripley running down to attack Nia. Nia had jumped her before the show officially started. And unfortunately, we had yet another pull-apart brawl. It must be Monday night when we get these pull-apart brawls. And the fact is, the crowds cheer every time. It's like the easiest thing to do to get a crowd pop, and they did the usual routine. The officials come out there. Nia breaks through the pack. Then Rhea breaks through the pack. And then Rhea got on the microphone and officially challenged Nia Jax to a match at Saturday night's main event. So there you go. You get your women's match for Saturday night's main event. Michael sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, Michael. I appreciate it. Michael says, did you hate the pull-apart brawl? Look, if they did them once a year or 2 or 3 times a year, I'd be fine with it. They are effective, but I think they're really overdone. But at the end of the day, the crowds pop for them and they just keep doing them. As long as the live crowds love them, they're not going to stop. I just get really bored with them. The whole let them fight. It's too overdone, in my opinion. They rely on these types of segments way too frequently. I feel like every feud must have a pull-apart brawl. So, yeah, it's not my favorite segment. I will say that. And apparently Nia is still on SmackDown. I don't know what the deal with that is, but yeah, that match is taking place on Saturday, and Nia winning against Bayley made sense to set her up for Rhea. But having said that, Rhea Ripley wins at Saturday night's main event. I might as well do my predictions for Saturday night's main event in this stream. We had a backstage meeting with Judgment Day, and Finn Balor's not around, so Dominic Mysterio volunteered to replace Finn Balor in a tag match with JD McDonough as they go against the War Raiders for the tag team titles next week. And Liv said that was a great idea, but she hopes Dominic's plan goes better than his plan for when Liv fought Rhea Ripley on the Raw Netflix premiere. And some more dissension was teased between Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. So I'm curious to see where that goes. We had a video package for the new Women's Intercontinental Champion, Lyra Valkyria, but that was her only presence on the show this week. And then backstage, Rollins and Zayn had some words. Rollins said he's almost rooting for Sami Zayn after the promo from Zayn in the Royal Rumble match. But when push comes to shove, Rollins said he will throw Sami Zayn over the top. Sami Zayn said, not if he can do it to Rollins first, and then wished him luck against Drew McIntyre. They're friends for now, but as we all know, there are no friends in the Royal Rumble match. We had Butch, or should I say Pete Dunne, versus Penta. Penta in his second match. Great entrance. I think they might have tweaked it a little bit. They had like a circular bit of pyro behind him. It looked really cool. As he came to the ring, there was a kid cosplaying as Donald Trump, and Penta gave him the zero fear salute. I mentioned Donald Trump earlier. Well, I got a super chat about it, so I mentioned him. But yeah, Donald Trump, once again, President of the United States. He also happens to be a Hall of Famer, and they got kids in Texas cosplaying as him. No surprise there. And Penta showed his love for that kid. That got some comments on social media. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, we got Butch, Pete Dunne, whatever you want to call him, going up against Penta. Really good match here. Pete Dunne was targeting the fingers, and he dropped Penta on the apron, worked him over for a bit, but then after the break, Penta was able to make a comeback. He hit the Mexican Destroyer. He did a dive over the top, and then they got back in the ring. Pete Dunne regained the upper hand, almost beat Penta, but then Penta was able to regain control. He took him out with the sacrifice arm breaker and then picked up the win with the Penta driver. Very entertaining match. And Penta's already a big deal. You know, they gave him another long match on Raw and another decisive win for Penta. They have been pushing him like he's a really big deal. So far, so good. We'll see how it goes. But up to this point, 2 weeks in, they've made him a superstar. Well done, WWE. Entertaining match. We had a video package for Logan Paul, and I guess he officially arrives as part of the Raw roster on next week's episode of Raw in Atlanta, Georgia. CM Punk then arrived for a special interview with Jackie Redmond in a luxury suite, and this was my favorite part of the show, and you probably know why. So Punk is talking about how nobody can beat him when he's at his best, and he can't see John Cena throwing him over the top rope. He said that Roman Reigns needed his help to settle family business, and Punk said he'll call in a favor if he needs to. And then he brought up some other names. He said he beat Seth Rollins already. He's beaten Drew McIntyre. And then he said if Hulk Hogan enters the Royal Rumble, he'll throw his dusty ass over the top rope and kill Hulkamania once and for all. And he got a massive pop for that line. The crowd absolutely loved that shot at Hulk Hogan. It was very entertaining. I don't think Hogan's going to be in the Royal Rumble. I mean, if you've seen the guy walk lately, I don't even know if Hulk Hogan could walk to the ring, quite honestly, in that stadium. Like, I feel like he's very limited with his walking these days. I don't think that's a realistic possibility, but you never know with Hulk Hogan if he'll try to do something. I think it's a bad idea. Look what happened when Vince got in the ring at WrestleMania 32. That was pretty much a disaster. So I don't see Hogan doing that. But yeah, Hogan got schooled there by CM Punk. And yeah, the crowd popped big in Texas. Now, granted, in a big city in Dallas, it's going to be a lot of liberals there. So you're going to have people that don't like Hulk Hogan. And I think red or blue, you got a lot of people that don't like Hulk Hogan, quite frankly. So for CM Punk to say that, I mean, it was an easy pop for him, and he definitely got it. Very entertaining stuff here. To me, this was the best part of the show. A nice, fun promo from Punk to hype up the show. Punk's still, in my opinion, the best promo guy in wrestling right now. And yes, the Netflix era is not working too well for Hulk Hogan, although he still has his Real American beer on the ring mat, so he's getting his publicity. We had a tag team match, women's match here. Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark of the Pure Fusion Collective against Dakota Kai and Io Sky of Damage Control. There was a comment earlier, will we possibly see Damage Control reunite now that Bayley's on Raw? That's an interesting idea for sure. Match was pretty solid. Not great or anything, but it was good. It was a good tag team match. I think it was the right length of time here. They were targeting Dakota's leg, but then Io came in, and Io was on fire here, going after both members of Pure Fusion Collective, but then you got some interference from Sonya Deville on the outside of the ring, and that allowed Zoey Stark to regain the upper hand. Zoey hit a really good springboard missile drop kick. She always hits that move very nicely. That's like her signature move, and this one in particular looked really good. Then Shayna Baszler tagged in, and Shayna put on the Kira Fuda clutch, but then Io was able to escape, and then she regained the upper hand, finished off Shayna Baszler with the over the moonsault. Io's got some momentum right now. We'll see what happens with her. If she's perhaps a favorite to win the Royal Rumble, they definitely made her look strong here. Good match. We then had our main event of the evening, Drew McIntyre versus Seth freaking Rollins, WrestleMania 40 rematch. We had a video package beforehand, and it was a very good match here to close out the show. Rollins did his dives to the outside, but he went to the well too many times. He got caught on the third one and thrown into the announce table. And then during the match, they were trash talking each other. McIntyre was calling Rollins selfish, and the action went back and forth. Rollins did his superplex, went for the Falcon Arrow, but McIntyre countered it with the Michinoku driver. And then finally, Rollins was able to hit the Falcon Arrow. He put on a crossface, and then he started trash talking. The referee had to pull Rollins away, and McIntyre took a cheap shot, a poke to the eye when the referee didn't see it. And then McIntyre hit the Future Shock DDT. He started trash talking again, and it looked like he was going to win. Rollins seemed out of it, but then Rollins, out of nowhere, with the jackknife cover, the roll-up, picked up the 1-2-3 victory over McIntyre. McIntyre took another L. He lost to Jey Uso a couple weeks ago, and then he loses again to Seth Rollins. Interesting. But hey, I'm glad they at least did a clean finish and didn't do some lame-ass DQ. Thankfully, they didn't do any of the DQs on this week's show, which I definitely approve of that, especially since they like doing the longer matches. I want some winners. After the match was over, McIntyre went right back after him to get his heat back. He did the Claymore. And then Sami Zayn ran out there to Rollins' aid. But then, unfortunately, he accidentally hit his friend Seth Rollins with the Haluva kick. Of course, it was an accident, but now the tensions have been built up between Zayn and Seth Rollins. And that concluded Raw. We did get a little bit of a cliffhanger, which I like. Overall, I don't think that this was at the level of the past 2 weeks. So I do think the streak of great Raws has come to an end. But I still think it was a very good episode of Monday Night Raw. The action was strong, and I liked the promos on the show. Not a big fan of the pull-apart brawl. That was maybe my least favorite part of the show. But all in all, I did enjoy the show very much, and I give it a solid 7 out of 10 Raw. Pretty good show this week. They built up Saturday night's main event a little bit, built up the Royal Rumble. Good stuff. Shout out to the This Guy Experience, who sent in a $2 super chat. Says the PFC members earned singles title runs. Well, first of all, they need to break up that group. I mean, I have nothing against the three of them, but I don't like the group. It's just not clicking for me. I don't like the name. Shayna Baszler, unfortunately, her credibility has taken a hit. Zoey Stark, I think, is talented, but for whatever reason, she has struggled to make a connection with the fans. Sonya Deville has always been entertaining, but again, she's been booked more like a manager / sidekick than an actual credible force. Yeah, I wish they had done something different with the presentation of this group. Maybe they could have had a better shot at regaining some credibility. But yeah, at this point, it's really hard to care about them. I did think it was a good match, though, but I think the right team won. So that's all I got to say about Raw this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up on the No DQ YouTube channel and give it a like. Tell a friend. Spread the word. Have a great week, everyone. Stay safe out there. And NoDQ.com will keep you updated on the latest wrestling news and rumors. Check out the No DQ review Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And, of course, catch all the streams on demand at NoDQ.com/YouTube. Say yes to No DQ, and I will see you all next time.